Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard Cisneros at your service. Today I will be reading the January 6th Daily Inspirational Message, the condensed version. It's just a couple paragraphs. Then I'll center myself, say a little prayer, and make a couple comments on the message. Okay, here we go. Turning hopelessness into hope. When we're buying into the ego's false concepts as true, unconscious as it may be, we're choosing hopelessness over hope, darkness over light, and a fear-based mindset over God's love. This can manifest in numerous forms, such as when you choose judgment over forgiveness, anger over peace, sadness over joy, or worry over trust. Today, if you find yourself entertaining any of the ego's thinking, do not put yourself or others down for being in a state of unconsciousness. Instead, let this trigger you to take your thinking and thus your mind back from the ego. The more you practice turning away from the ego's mindset, the more control you will have over your thoughts and thus over your life. Every decision you make that moves you towards God, towards love, leads you to hope. Today, if a sense of hopelessness comes knocking at your mind's door, do not put yourself or others down for this, for that would only sink you deeper into the darkness. And forgive, the video is a little dark. Not the message, just the lighting. Instead, recognize it. See that it is not offering you the life you want. Recall that you have free will and stop supporting the thoughts that support the ego. You no longer need to support thoughts that don't support you. You have the final say over the thoughts you think and thus of your attitude. Start supporting thoughts that will support the life you want. Today, in your support of the thoughts that fuel the false concept of hopelessness. Then place that same energy and emotion into looking for and supporting thoughts that move you in hope's direction. Do so and watch despair fade away before your light and understanding. There are two basic paths, so to speak. One leads you to hope, and one is the path of hopelessness. One, which is hope, is the path of love, and hopelessness is the path of fear. And so anytime you're choosing fearful thoughts, such as judgment, condemnation, anxiousness, anger, sadness, regret, shame, any of those are just steps towards the path to hopelessness. None of them are truly true. Those are just thoughts that you've been programmed to believe are true and have supported them over a period of time, so now you think they're real, when in reality they were never real. They were just a fairy tale that was taught to you, that was read to you over and over again, and now you think it's a non-fiction tale. But in reality, you being God's creation, love's creation, only the love in you is true. And so only love's expressions such as compassion, forgiveness, kindness, peace, joy, that's all the truth in you. That's all that's true about you. And so whenever despair or the ego tries to take control of your thinking, of your thoughts, know what is truly happening. What is truly happening is that you're not in control of your thinking. It's your programming. It's the ego who's in control of your thinking. Judgment, condemnation, anger, fear, anxiety, sadness, those are all programs of the ego. And so whenever you're experiencing them, that's just a program that you're buying into. So you're just following the ego. The ego is in control of your thinking. And if it's in control of your thinking, guess what? It's in control of your life. And guess what happens when that happens? You're basically a zombie. And then you wonder why you don't feel fulfilled. Why? Because you're not even living your own life. It's the ego who's living your life through you. And so you're following in a zombie-like fashion the ego's programs, And you wonder why you feel when you're sad and when you feel hopeless. It's all a lie. It's all not true. Every moment is a creation of the divine. You have co-created with the divine a perfect journey for you. God is going to use all for good. Even what we've been programmed to believe is dark and bad or difficult situations or very challenging situations, which the ego has programmed us to put ourselves down or others down because we're experiencing them, God in the end will use all you are using for good. Just trust that. Trust that perfect love only has your best interest in mind. And so all the negative you're going to be able to use in a positive way to help you heal and grow and awaken. And if you look back into your past, you might see numerous situations where it appeared very dark or it was very challenging or it seemed like, oh man, this is not good. But you learned so much from it. And you learned who you wanted to be and who you did not want to be. And so now you have these tools of how to overcome these challenges. And then you'll start to see that God is sending you people who are dealing with these same type of challenges. And guess what? You are going to be able to help them. Why? Because you already went through them and you overcame them. And now there are just tools on your tool belt. And when you start to help people who are going through challenges that you have gone through and overcome, and you see how you helped others, a sense of awe and fulfillment and hope for the world starts to fill you up. Because you're seeing how God used even the darkest times in your life, how God can use them for good. And then when you're going through when you seem to be going through difficult times now in the present, if you simply remember what happened in the past, you can see, oh, well, okay, I'm not feeling quite good right now about this situation or experience or interaction. But you know what? I'm going to trust God because He used my past experiences for good. Therefore, this must be being used in some way, shape, or form for my good, for my healing, for my awakening, so that I can become the light of the world that God created me to be. So I can become the hope of the world, the light of the world. That's what God created you to be. And so if you get stuck in the ego's mindset today, and let's say you become sad or anxious, just recognize it. Recognize that you're attached to symbols and energies and emotions that are not the truth in you. Recognize them. Okay, so thank you very much for this situation. Okay, let me place them aside. Let me come back to my center. Remember that God uses all for good, and that I have co-created my journey with perfection. Thus this journey must be perfect for me. And so thank you. Thank you for the situation. Even though the ego would say, oh, this is a difficult or challenging or bad situation or negative situation. No. This I'm going to be able to use someday for my good, to awaken, to heal, so that I can help others heal, those that God sends my way. And when God sends those people your way, just a great hope for the world comes into your heart, because you see that these people don't have to suffer. Yes, maybe you suffered for a little while, but you overcame it. And maybe you're suffering now, but you will overcome it. Because God is going to use your situation for good. He's going to use you as the lantern of hope for this world. All you have to do is trust. Trust instead of worry. Have appreciation instead of judgment. Have compassion and forgiveness for others instead of condemning and judging them. That's all you have to do. That's free will. We have the right to choose our own path. And in every moment and in every interaction, we can choose the path of hope. And when the ego throws hopelessness our way, we simply recognize it. We recognize that's not the path that we want to go on. We stop those thoughts. We stop placing our time, focus, and energy on those thoughts. And then we return that same time focus and energy, we return it back to aligning with our center, with love, with hope. And then from our center, we walk. We continue to walk on our path. And so let's just remember that we control our thoughts. Our thoughts should not be controlling us. And in every moment, in every interaction, we can choose the path of hope. Because hope is your creator. Hope is your inheritance. You're the child of hope. And you're here to remind others that they too can choose the path of hope. And so today, just be the light of the world. Just remember you have free will. Forgive. And by doing so, choose hope instead of hopelessness. Thank you very much for your time. If this video was the lighting was a little dark, it's just a little later in the day. I have to get one of those lights. But do forgive me for that. I love you very much. And please like or comment. If you have a question, I will be delighted to try and answer that question. And God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. God bless you. I love you. Peace.